Alright, here we go. How's it going, guys? This is Zero to Infinity with Arius here. We are going to be recasting match number 2 of Team Undecided versus Team Simple Machine. Should we just count 3, 2, 1 and then hit play?
Sure.
Okay,
We
so
can do that.
so we'll go 3, 2, 1, play. Alright. So we're gonna, I'm at 19, 18, 17 on the band timer, 16, 15. Yeah?
I'm a little behind you, actually. Hold on.
Oh, I'll pause for a quick second. Just keep playing yours. I'll pause. Okay. Now I'm at 5.
Where are you?
4, 3,
Okay, 5.
2, 1. Pretty close.
No.
What's your timer at?
I'm all out of whack. I'm just gonna stop at a minute. Just total time.
Okay.
That's where I am right now.
Okay, I'm at minute 01.
Okay, we're good.
Okay. 3,
We're good.
2, 1, go. Alright. So we're seeing the IO and Undying actually being banned right now, right at the beginning of the match. So guys, just want to mention, so Arius here is one of Utah. We actually have a lot of really good players here. Arius is actually one of them. So he's actually going to give us some really good insight on why certain picks are picked and why certain bans are occurring here. So we'll go ahead and start. So why did you guys immediately ban Undying? I mean, we're seeing him ban super popular ban right now.
Absurdly just annoying to play against. He's just annoying. He doesn't really have a lot of great counters. Like, some of the only counters are heroes with like split shots, like Gyrocopter, Medusa, Luna to a degree because the Glaives can hit the zombies, but you don't level Glaives until later anyway.
Oh, I see.
He's just really annoying, and like if you get caught with like a slow or a stun by the Tombstone, man, it's just brutal early game. Plus, with all the Strain Steel, he just has a really good early game toolkit that translates pretty well into the mid game, especially in a mid game fight meta. Like right now, you see a lot of fighting in the early and mid game. His just all his abilities help him out a lot with that.
Okay.
Heals too for sustain. You know, he's just a really good hero.
That makes a lot of sense too. I heard another thing about him was that his tombstone. His tombstone was extremely overpowered, is what I've been hearing as well. Just because those zombies just come out so quickly.
Yep. No, the Tombstone's really strong. It makes fighting early really hard. So yeah.
So at this point right now, we're seeing them ban the Gyrocopter as well as the IO. I'm assuming they're probably banning the Gyrocopter because they've watched you played so many times, and they assume you're probably going to pick up the Gyrocopter.
I'm a big fan of Gyro. I like him a lot. I don't think he's, especially since he just had another nerf. I think that really sort of helped him balance wise. So he's not super broken right now, but he's still a really strong hero.
Yeah, it's, you mentioned it was this 0 point cast time on his rocket barrage. That's just absolutely devastating too, right? So
yeah, the 0 cast point was good, but it did get damage, level 1, level 2 damage nerf recently to balance that out, so he's not quite as broken. Sphere Breaker we banned because he's also really annoying. You know, just the ability to charge someone from across the map. We didn't ban Viper this game. It was not a good idea. Should have banned Viper. Viper's also annoying.
just
Very strong hero.
He offers a lot, especially in the mid lane. Just because he can do so much damage without really needing any items, is what I understand.
His major strength, I think, right now is that a lot of the mid laners tend to be really spammy. They have a lot of like spammy magic damage. You see Leshrac, you see Quap, you see Shadow Fiend. You see these heroes with spammy magic damage, and Viper's really good against that because he gets the corrosive skin. So every time you damage him, he just damages you right back.
Right.
So
and that damage from his corrosive skin is also fatal too. So you can actually be ticked to death if you're really low in a team fight.
Yep.
That's annoying.
You can just kill you. Yeah.
So based on the lineup right now that we're seeing here, I've seen Line being picked up a lot because I feel that he's just such a really versatile support, especially with his 0 point cast on his basically a free hex shape stick. But at this point, what was your guys' team strategy? I mean, you guys got a Queen of Pain and a Dazzle coming out. Would the Dazzle just be for team fights, or what was the main reason for picking a Dazzle?
Yeah, it's more of a team fight. It's an early lane winner. It's a team fight hero. It does really well. The heal, just sustain is so important in the game right now. Like being able to like fight and stay alive in fights and like keep pushing after a fight. Like sustain's really big right now. That's another reason Undying's super good. He has a heal too. That's why Wisp is good. just sustain and team fight are really big right now. Lion is picked up because Lion has great team fight. You know, has 2 disables and a big damage nuke. You know, just a very excellent hero that can fight early and fight a lot. Also, good counter to Queen of Pain. You get the instant hex if Queen blinks in, and then you have a stun to follow it up.
Oh, I see. So one of the things I was kind of curious at this point is that, was there a particular strategy you guys were going for at this point, or were you guys just trying to get rid of the heroes that you guys found annoying or were difficult to deal with? Because I know you guys banned a Slark and a Broodmother as well.
We just were banning heroes that I felt would be annoying and difficult to deal with. We didn't really have a great strategy for this. This was our first set of matches, and we didn't really practice a whole lot, so we were kind of just feeling the water, so to speak. Didn't really have a great idea. I just wanted to pick good heroes I thought that were strong, good strong combos, good team fight.
Okay.
Good sustain.
So I'm noticing that too from Team Simple Machine that they abandoned Ursa and Timbersaw. I really want to mention Ursa just because Ursa, he got a huge buff in 6.84 with his ultimate. Was it 80% reduction damage, or did it just recently bring that down to 60 now? But that was a huge.
No, I don't even know what it is. But they banned it because this is actually game 2, I think, because we actually picked it the game before.
Oh, okay.
Won pretty handily, so.
I see.
Yeah, no, they banned it because of that.
I see. Yeah, it was just one thing I noticed Oh, go ahead.
They picked the Bristleback in game 1, and we picked the Ursa because Ursa's a fair counter. Doesn't really care too much about the Bristleback itself because you get some Fury Swipe stacks up there, you kill Bristle right through the damage reduction. Doesn't matter. I was interested that they banned it though, because it's not a great hero outside of most pocket strats. It really is most useful when you have like a Wisp to run with it. It's really sort of a pocket pick, I guess I would say. And so I'm surprised they banned it, but
I see. So actually, I'm noticing something there that could work really well. I mean, you essentially could just have a Bristleback jump in there into the middle of a team fight and immediately have Dazzle Shallow Grave, and Bristleback would basically take so much damage, but he'd be proccing his spiked, his Crow Spray, right?
So
and he would just
Bristle Dazzle is a combo. It's been a combo for a long time. In Dota 1, it was a combo in Han. It's a combo in Dota 2. It's the same concept as like Bristle Wisp. It's just a healer for the Bristle so that he stays alive longer. He takes less damage in fights, with the armor buff. And it has a decent slow that combos up with Bristle well. And yeah, the goal is just to keep Bristle alive so he can spam those Quill Sprays out, get those stacked up really high. Once you get those stacked at, 4 or 5 or 6, it's hitting for, a few hundred damage.
I see.
That's a lot.
So one of the things I'm curious about, when you proc Bristle's passive, does that actually count towards his Warpath passive as well, or no?
Yep.
Holy shit!
I don't know
That's
if it counts
awesome.
to Warpath, but it counts towards the Quill Spray stack. So like Quill Spray, whenever you hit someone with Quill Spray, right, they get a debuff, and then it stacks. And then the more Quill Spray stacks they have on the enemy, the more each subsequent Quill Spray does. It's similar to the Ursa's attack buff.
Okay, that's awesome.
The Fury Swipes.
So
the goal is to keep Bristle alive so he can spam Quill Spray, and if you get 5, 6, 7, 8 Quill Spray stacks on an enemy hero, they're going to take a ton of damage from every subsequent Quill Spray. So I do know that the Bristleback Quill Spray does increase the damage of like all subsequent Quill Sprays.
So the tricky thing is, like, how do you guys counter this? Because I'm looking at Team Simple Machines picks right now, and what they've got going on is they got mostly ranged heroes along with a Darkseer. I'm assuming just to probably have Darkseer go as an off lane there. I mean, the Bristleback's going to be most effective in melee fights, so how is this going to work with that many ranged heroes that you guys are going against?
Bristle just runs at people. Like, he's just going to run at them. Like, that's just what he does.
Okay, just basically using nasal goo.
I mean, with the Dazzle slow, and then the Shadow Demon, so we picked up the Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon's a decent long-range initiation, can set up for the Bristle to get on top of someone. Not only that, but we picked it because it is, even though they picked Vengeful as their second support, when they could have picked up Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon's actually one of the better Bristleback counters, because that Soul Catcher makes Bristle take more damage.
Oh, okay.
Current time is 2 o'clock.
So it doesn't give him a whole lot of chance to stay tanky throughout the team fights to get his Quill Sprays off. I see.
Yeah, so we picked it up because it's also a great combo with Dazzle. You can save people, you can get initiations. It's just a really good combo, I think.
Okay. So
you notice actually, it's also it's great against. They picked a lot of stuns. They picked the Dark Seer Sven combo, which is great because you get the vac into the Stormhammer, the AoE stun, you know, into the cleave damage. They have a pretty good lineup here. You get the Vengeful for the damage aura and the Wave of Terror. Sven's gonna be hitting pretty hard.
Oh, okay.
You got a tanky frontliner and Viper. Tanky frontliner Viper that can just take damage. So then I picked the Lina because this was an odd pick. I probably could have picked something else here, but
do you think maybe like another big AoE hero, maybe like Enigma might have been good as a support, just because?
No, we needed a mid hero. I don't know for Simple Machine. I like their lineup a lot. Their lineup's really strong. You know, you've got 2 AoE stuns in the Sven and the Lion that combo out with the vac because you can vac into both the Stormhammer and the Impale. You know, Air Spike.
Oh yeah, that's
you know,
true.
The vacuum combos really well with both those stuns. You get the extra damage from the Wave of Terror. You have a Viper who can be upfront tanky and wants to buy a mech. They have a really strong, really well-rounded lineup.
All right.
My lineup's all flavor of the month stuff. Pop, Lina, Bristleback, Shadow Demon, Dazzle.
Alright. So we're taking a look at this first match already. We're actually seeing an early smoke coming out from Team Simple Machine, and they're actually going to try to go for the bottom rune. I think they were expecting somebody to actually go into their jungle to throw a ward there, so that's why they actually started running down to the bottom area as soon as possible, but you don't catch anything. So I think you guys start contesting for the bottom rune. I really find the double rune patch that they did a couple patches ago, mid the beginning of the game, really entertaining because you have 2 runes that you can potentially secure with the bounty rune, which actually makes it more fun for supports. And I'm actually seeing your team getting early smoke as well. You guys lined up right behind Team Simple Machine in this bottom fight right here. So looks like the Stormhammers.
We waited a long time to smoke, and it ended up working out for us.
Yeah, it looks like.
So yeah, we get the kills bottom. It was pretty easy. You get the Shadow Demon set up with the Lina double stun, the Dazzle and the Bristle there. It's kind of hard to deal with that.
Yeah, that was very, very nice game. It worked really well for you guys right there, actually. We got 2 fights, 2 heroes going down for that team fight. You guys securing the first blood already. It looks like the first blood actually went to the Dazzle. So huge ass Brian goes and kill steals from
2 kills. So one of the things that's underestimated about Dazzle is early levels of Poison Touch. Poison Touch is actually pretty strong, especially once you get to level 2. It has extra slow. Doesn't stun anymore. It used to have a mini stun, which is amazing. But it's really good. You know, it's a long range slow, so it's pretty useful.
And it looks like the Dark Seer actually brought down the Queen of Pain. Yeah. Brought you down right there.
I messed up and aggroed the creeps.
Oh, okay.
Should have done that, and so he had two ion shells going on me. It's a good job by him.
That was a good play. I wish I would have caught it. So it looks like we have a fairly standard Dark Seer offlane. I think Dark Seer is actually just an amazing offlane because his Ion Shell could just harass the hell out of the enemy heroes here. And it's kind of unorthodox because I usually see a Queen of Pain go mid. So what was the decision to have your Lina go mid instead of you?
Lina is a better overall mid against the Viper. I feel, especially due to the fact that Laguna Blade is so strong. I could have gone mid. I'm just generally not a mid player, and I don't play Lina that much. And so I offered to, when they picked the Viper, I offered to take a Quap solo top and then do a tri-lane with the Bristle bottom. Bristle tri-lanes, especially with Dazzle like Shadow Demon, it's just an absurdly strong tri-lane and is absurdly, you know, just, especially against a melee carry and Sven, you know, it's going to really do a lot of hurt. Because like Sven can't really come in, and once you get those Quill Spray stacks up, once the Bristle gets some extra mana, sustainability, and can get those Quill Spray stacks up, when you factor in the Dazzle heal, plus the Shadow Demons, Disrupt, and Soul Catcher, like people just take so much more damage.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and actually one thing I do hear people joke around sometimes is that you can actually go for a Dazzle carry. I mean, probably in pub matches, because it's kind of super unconventional, but apparently his right-click animation is pretty good, isn't it?
Sure is. Back in Han days, he used to get played as a carry. I've seen No Tail actually play him a few times as a carry.
Nice.
Mid, actually. Very strong hero. Not quite as good in Dota 2. actual agi and strength carries tend to hold their slots pretty hard.
That makes a lot of sense.
You have to have some pretty insane. You have to have some pretty insane bursts like Lina or Quap in order to get that int carry going.
So it looks like we got both a aggro and a defensive tri-lane at this bottom lane right here, and it looks like they're actually going to go through and try to get the kill on a Shadow Demon, and then Huge Ass comes in with a huge Shallow Grave for a Shadow Demon, and he's able to banish himself, but he does get brought down. Lion's going to try to run away, and he's going to actually be brought down by you as well. And I think it looks like you're actually trying to get some additional damage out there, and the Sven and the Vengeful Spirit
kills and then dies. But the Dazzle again, shoots Dazzle out. No, that's right. We're gonna end up dying here.
Yeah, it looks like we had 3 people go down in that fight, or 2 people? 3 people, actually.
Yep, all 3 of the dire side died. It was a little over aggressive. Perhaps the shallow grave was really good there, but the disruption right after that probably should have gone into an enemy hero because it overlapped the shallow grave.
That makes a lot of sense.
So
but actually,
it didn't really help all that much.
It looks like the Shadow Demon is actually going to be brought down right there again, and in the meantime, it looks like the Viper actually went down mid. I didn't catch that, but you're going to go. Looks like Method is actually going to go through and chase down the Vengeful Spirit. The Vengeful Spirit doesn't really have much of an escape until she's at least level 6. So that was a quick. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that was just another. As soon as so what happened there is because the Radiant side, the Radiant tri-lane expended so much mana and abilities in getting the first triple kill, the Dire side came back in, all 3 of them, the Bristle, the Dazzle, and the Shadow Demon with full mana, all their abilities, full HP, and the Radiant side just got caught out and lost 2.
And actually,
right now...
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, right now the lanes are I think, pretty heavily being won by Dire side. Net worth is firmly on the Dire side. Last hits, Delina's on top. Viper's, doing pretty well, but both myself on the Quap and Method are ahead last hit wise. That's the thing. Is so like top lane, if you look at that Quap Darkseer matchup, Quap's actually one of the better heroes to match up against Darkseer because you get some ranged harass with the Shadow Strike, right? And you can easily nuke down the waves with Scream of Pain.
Oh, that's true.
It's pretty easy, once you get it going, to either deny a lot of his creeps early on, deny him a lot of farm,
or get rid of the Ion Shell creep.
Yeah, it's not too hard to even deny your creeps as they're getting killed by Ion Shell and keep him away from the wave. It's pretty easy to zone him out. I would point out that our mid right now, the Lina versus Viper matchup, Viper should probably in general be really strong against Lina. Viper went for a 2 Nether Toxin, 2 Corrosive Skin build. Not so sure about that. Probably should have maxed the Corrosive Skin. But
so why the Corrosive Skin over the Nether Toxin? Because I feel like the Nether Toxin just offers so much damage output later on, right?
Against the Lina though, you want the extra magic resist, man. 5%
okay,
resist, you get a move slow on her, you get the attack slow on her. Most pros nowadays end up maxing the Corrosive Skin because you're usually against a spammy mid.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense
here.
And it looks like we have a big team fight coming out there. And it looks like your Bristleback's actually going to go through and chase down the Lion. The Lion's trying to get away, and then the Vengeful Spirit going to go through and stun him. Sven's going to try to redeem the fight, and he's actually able to get Stormhammer off and Chain Stun. And he's trying to bring down your Bristleback, but he managed to get away, and then a quick rotation from your Lina going down bot. And it looks like you guys are just gonna chase him down. He's got 3 stack of Shadow Poison on him, and I think he was down low enough that I could bot him. And looks like Huge Ass does get the last hit against the Sven and brings him down.
Dazzle,
so that team fight
right time there
went very well for you guys.
From the Lina. Yep, great rotation from the Lina, who is very far ahead in mid lane and can leave now safely and not worry about giving the Viper too much farm. So.
Yeah, we are seeing the Lina leading with 40 last hits, 6 denies, Queen of Pain, 28 hits, last denies, with the Viper right behind the Queen of Pain. Your Darkseer is literally half, almost, of what Lina is. Well, I mean, you are beating Darkseer by roughly about 10 last hits. So I see what you mean, like, yeah, just basically just Scream Pain bringing down the Ion Shell creep, and it makes him expend his mana. So I can see how that works. So one item I'm seeing picked up a little bit more fairly often as well is Enchanted Mango. So how do you know which heroes are good for Enchanted Mangoes and which ones aren't?
It really depends. If you're planning on getting a bottle or not, I probably wouldn't get a mango. I probably wouldn't even waste the money. if you're not getting a bottle, it's not bad to have if you need that big mana burst. If you're like have expensive spells, or like really high value spells early game, I would say get a mango. Otherwise, pot's good. It just depends on if you don't think you're going to be taking a lot of burst damage and you want that sustain and that chance for extra mana, then get a mango. But otherwise, probably potions are better most of the time.
Makes a lot of sense. And the one thing you were bringing up that was just really hard about this bottom lane is that they got 3 stuns on the bottom lane, and then Vengeful Spirit and Sven are just an awesome combo for Wave of Terror. And we're seeing a team fight coming through, and it looks like you guys are going to burst down the Lion, and he goes down. Lena's going to rotate bottom as well, and you guys are going to be chasing down the Vengeful Spirit. Laguna Gate Blade coming out, and the Bristleback comes in. Lena finishing off with the Dragon Slave. And then there's not a whole lot they can do, and it looks like you actually rotated mid here, and it was just a 4v1 at the bottom.
Yep.
So what was your decision to leave... What was your decision to leave top lane and go down mid? Was it just to make it easier to rotate bot if you needed to, or what was the reason?
I was rotating for the rune. Yeah, I was rotating for the rune, and then it just makes it easier to stay around bot, and then I can push mid freely since the Viper rotated out. It was mostly just that. If you watch there, though, the big counter to the triple stun bottom that we saw at the beginning of that fight is the Shadow Demon Disrupt. Because they threw the stun on the Bristle, and then you just disrupt him, and then he's safe for the next 2 seconds or whatever. Keeps taking any damage at all.
Oh, that's right.
Really good defensive.
And he could
diving Quap top right now, but won't get the kill.
That's actually a nice. It's a nice escape for Shadow Demon because it counts as both a semi-stun and also a save against your own hero. Gives you at least 2 illusions as well to at least protect yourself to run away, or you could even do
some damage.
Yeah, do some damage. Hey, actually, out of curiosity, if you end up using a Shadow Demon and disrupting a Phantom Lancer that's on your team, and he uses those illusions to attack, will it proc more illusions for him?
It certainly will, and you can even use it on opposing Phantom Lancers. In fact, back before the Phantom Lancer changes, the recent ones, when his illusions used to stay around much longer, Shadow Demon was one of the better counters, or at least a semi-counter, because then you could disrupt him and steal his illusions for yourself.
Oh, that's awesome.
Since they lasted so long, you would see some games where like the Shadow Demon illusions would like push, towers and stuff.
We actually have a couple of players that are actually really good Shadow Demon players. One of them is actually Justin's brother, A9, and he plays a pretty awesome Shadow Demon as well. And this even pulls some clutch saves for his carries. So that's actually really entertaining. I don't feel like Shadow Demon gets picked up often enough in pub games. A lot of people don't know how to play him. Well, maybe that's just my MMR.
Dies top, and the Darkseer gets denied by the Viper. There's a good TP by the Viper. I jumped in on the DS trying to get a kill with the ulti, and he TP'd up there and got a kill on the clock.
That was actually very smart. I actually didn't notice that. And it looks like the Lena is actually trying to engage the Viper, and she's going to try to use her passive to bring down the Viper, and she does take him down, and the Corrosive Skin takes her down to 23 health, and she almost dies there. Almost got her.
Yep.
And that's what you were talking about right there. It's just that her ability to just throw down her burst damage as quickly as possible. And this is actually a really cool play. I want to talk about this because it's actually more of an advanced technique, is that when somebody's coming back from Fountain to a tower, you can actually give them your bottle, and the Fountain buff will actually apply towards the empty bottle, and it makes it so you don't have to run all the way back.
It will fill the bottle right away. Some people feel like it shouldn't be like that, but it's been in the game for a long time now, and hopefully it stays. I like it. It's just, an extra level of, hey, efficiency, if you remember to do it.
Yeah, it's a pretty... I would want to say I wouldn't say it's like a super high level thing, but it's something that not a lot of people use or realize it's there. So that's actually a really cool thing I wanted to point out.
Yeah, no, it's not used as nearly as much as it could be. It's, abuse that bottle, man.
Yeah.
Bottles are some of the most underrated items in the game. I actually, honestly, looking at the Bristleback, he doesn't have a wand right now. He doesn't have, very many methods for mana sustain. We do have arcane boots on the Dazzle, but one of the things with Bristle is that it's nice to have some extra mana on him, and a bottle is actually really useful regardless. I almost would have recommended going for the bottle, especially in the tri-lane. In an aggressive tri-lane, you can secure bot runes really easily.
And we're seeing the Sven actually go in and try to take out the Lena, and he's not able to secure the kill, and he just gets brought down as well. Lena's going to go through, get shell by Dazzle, and it looks like you guys bring down the Vengeful Spirit and the Sven. Actually, one thing I want to mention that a lot of players don't do this either, in my current MMR anyways, but I feel like if you are going against really spammy heroes like Bristleback, you should always have a magic wand or a magic stick, just because there's so many spells being procced that it would at least get those charges filled up really quickly.
100%. If you're going against Zeus, Bristleback, Invoker even to a degree, but any of these heroes, you know, even Lina, even Leshrac, any of these heroes that just spam spells, a wand is almost necessary, especially in a tri-lane versus tri-lane. If you're ever in a tri-lane versus tri-lane situation, aggressive or, you know, defensive, wands are some of the best pickups you can get, because you got 3 heroes there all casting spells.
Yeah, true.
And even if it's just the magic stick, you know, that's, you know, 10 charges or whatever that gets you a ton of extra HP and mana.
Actually, one thing I really liked about the change that they did to Magic Wand was the how they added extra charges onto it, and they actually changed the components of it. Because before it used to only just give you +3 to all your stats, and then whatever, but now it's +4 to all your stats, which is actually makes it a really nice pickup compared to before. I mean, it is a little bit more expensive, but it just feels like it offers so much more with the 17 charges, and it makes it a little bit more relevant to mid-game.
It's not that much more expensive either because they removed the recipe requirement, which is really nice.
That's true.
In fact, I wonder if it's more expensive at all. But
yeah, that's true, because if they removed the recipe...
I'm really surprised that none of the supports in this game, except for Vengeful, have a magic wand.
And it looks like Team Backdoor... Sorry, it looks like... Yep, it looks like there was a... I think we're still a little bit lagging in time right now.
Really?
Let's see. What's your time clock at the very top?
14:33.
Okay, I'm ahead of you by 3 seconds. I'm going to do a quick pause on my side and replay. 2, 3... Okay, now I'm at 43. What are you at?
Yeah, I'm at 44, 45, 46.
Okay. Alright, now we should be pretty close. Quick pause.
Yep.
Alright, so it looks like Simple Machine was able to actually bring down that top lane, that top tower for tier 1. Gives him some nice tower gold. I think another thing too is that people in some of the matches I play is that they don't focus enough on objectives, and they focus a lot on kills, which a lot of times it's not the objective of the game, right?
Yeah, you'll even see, you know, I played a ton of games, you know, it's a problem for my team too. Sometimes we dive a little too hard. Yeah, you go for those kills instead of worrying about the tower. You know, the towers are what matter, the buildings are what matter, and I try to, you know, stay focused. I like to play building killer. I like to split push. You know, I think that's what you want to do. And it's not just, you know, the fact that you do have to kill the buildings. It's more about map control. You know, you get the early tier 1s down, they can't TP to them to support. You know, they can't TP to them to push lanes, and here we're going on Viper.
Yes, a huge fight coming out here, and Dazzle's able to get his ultimate off, and the Lion's actually going to try to get a finger off against you, and Dazzle does go down. You get Lita gets a shallow grave, and you're actually just trying to chase away. Laguna Blade's coming out, brings down the Darkseer, and it looks like a 1-for-1 exchange between a Darkseer and the Dazzle. It looks like they're actually going to be trying to chase you down. You do manage to get the blink away, and Lina's going to come right back in to try to slow down the spin. That was a pretty intense fight that just barely happened there. You guys ran away pretty quickly because a great mirror.
Darkseer got off an amazing vacuum wall, amazing vac wall by the Darkseer there into the Impale or in the Stormhammer. It was very good, very well done. Dazzle had a good save onto the Bristle, as did Shadow Demon, had a great disrupt onto the Bristle, kept him alive.
It looks like the Lina does get caught out right here by the Vengeful Spirit and the Storm.
And gets killed. Yep.
Sorry, not the Storm, the Sven. So
Sven, yeah, Sven. That Stormhammer is really long range, very long range initiation. You know, the Magic Missile doesn't have a bad range either. You know, they'll catch you with it.
Just a ton of damage.
Lina got cut out there. Yep, just a ton of damage with a lot of burst.
So another thing too that I see that people don't do is when you ever get like a Ring of Aquila or the Ring of Basilius, is that they don't turn it off and they leave it on as active when you're playing. And I say that when you start getting into team fights, it's better to turn that on, but turn it off in the initial phases so that way you don't accidentally apply that buff towards your creeps. It ends up actually affecting your creep momentum, which a lot of people don't seem to realize can actually make it harder for you to farm safely.
Yeah, so yeah, people don't toggle the Aquila or the Basilisk, they both do it. Generally, especially early game, you want to keep the lane somewhat frozen in your favor, especially if you're a carry.
We see a vacuum wall coming out there with the Dark Mirror. We see the Dazzle throwing down the ultimate. We're actually going to see a Darkseer actually being popped down right now. Lena's going to have to retreat back to the tier 1 tower. Viper's going to go through and try to chase down the heroes. They have to be removing around, and you actually get hexed by the lion. Sven's actually going to try to come through and get a kill. Method actually comes in with the bristleback, brings it down. So much action going down here. Sven goes down, Darkseer goes down, Vengeful Spirit goes down, Viper goes down. Lion's trying to get away, and it looks like the Lena's going to finish him off. And we got a team wipe coming from Simple Machine. That team fight went really well in your guys' favor, and it looked like it was initiating.
Yeah, you see the strength there, the Shadow Demon Dazzle, a lot of sustain from the Dazzle heals. The Bristleback just gets a ton of stacks up. You know, he's all tanky. You know, he gets a ton of cold spray damage down. Lena had an awesome triple stun there, to which I completely whiffed my Blink Scream Pain, so it was pretty funny.
Maybe you just like to scream randomly. It happens, I get it.
Yeah, no, Lena had a great triple stun there, but that's really just the strength of the Bristleback and the Dazzle Shadow Demon. They keep people alive, they keep them, you know, relatively topped off, and then the Bristle's damage, you know, plus, you know, the Lena and the Quad Burst really, you know, just get you through those. Because the thing is, the Viper's tanky, the Sven's pretty tanky, the Darkseer's pretty tanky. Well, Darkseer's not tanky yet. But Sven has a lot of HP, the Viper has a lot of HP. They're hard to get through, so the Dazzle Bristle really helps you get through that by keeping you alive while they die.
And we're actually seeing the Bristleback actually building a mechanism instead of, say, Dazzle. And I think this was brought up to me by Happy, because generally it's like you can have your supports build mech, but a lot of times it might not be a bad idea to have your front end guy that's super tanky carry the mech as well, just because he's going to be able to stay alive longer to keep the team sustained. So...
yeah, I mean, especially when you have a support like Dazzle that, you know, our people already want to kill the Dazzle. They already want to focus him down. You know, putting the mech on him, sort of putting all your eggs in one basket. The other thing is that the Bristleback's going to farm much, much faster than the Dazzle is.
Looks like a big team fight coming down right here, right now. And it looks like Huge Ass is going to show up behind him. Throws down his ultimate, gives you guys a ton of armor, and we're seeing so much chaos going down. You get bursted down. Lena gets Shallow Grave, and she's going to try to get away, and she actually does survive. Sven goes down in the meantime, and looks like Bristleback's going to try to chase down the Vengeful Spirit. Vengeful Spirit's going to try to make a quick escape, and it looks like the Bristleback was able to take her down, and he gets stunned by a lion. He's just going to quill spray and finish him off. And we got a 3-for-4 exchange right there. And it looks like you're actually going to try to bring down the Viper as well. The Viper does have an Ion Shot on him. Another huge team fight for you guys. Shadow Demon, Bristleback be able to get away. Bristleback is just incredibly tanky.
Yeah, Viper is super tanky, but so is the Bristle, and then the big deal there was that they had to expend all their energy killing, you know, the Lena, the Clop, the Dazzle. They used all their abilities, took a lot of damage. You know, Dazzle kept Lena alive for long enough to get her abilities off. I got my ability, you know, Clop gets her abilities off. And then the Bristle, because he's not being focused, you know, he's just going to go to town, he's going to get those close range stacks up, and by the time they've killed everyone, thanks to the Dazzle, you know, he's just killed everyone on the other team too.
Yeah, that was that team fight went really well for you guys. This Shadow Demon is playing really well, so I'm kind of curious. I've noticed that he's hoarding a ton of gold. I mean, what's the thinking behind that? Why not get wards and start getting your other items built now? Why save so much gold?
I do not know why he's saving gold. I do not know what he was thinking about buying here. I have no idea. I was not looking at him at this time. Insights?
Maybe he was going for the Mushi play, where Mushi just saves up a shitload of gold until last minute.
Yeah. Probably for saving for a 4-staff.
You see the Shadow Demon coming with the disruption and actually going against a Darkseer there. Darkseer is going to get slightly dislayed. Huge Ass coming in with a nice Arcane Boots just to make sure that there's some extra mana for the Shadow Demon. Really nice item. Actually, I think one of my favorite new support items that's come out for this patch is the Guardian Greaves. And would that end up being built in this match right here? Because
no,
because you already had a mech on you.
Built in this match right here. It is a big advantage. No, that mech's on Method. I'm playing the Quap.
That's right.
The big thing, no, they won't be being built here. The big thing again that makes Bristle a prime mech buyer and makes cores generally prime mech buyers is that they just farm so much faster than supports, that you can get the mech up quicker generally. Now, Bristle didn't go mech first in this game. He went for the Crimson Guard, which is fine. It's a good item choice. But he also, you know, just gets the mech much quicker than the Dazzle would have. Just much faster. And so you have the mech, you know, a good 5-10 minutes before a Dazzle might get it, and you know, and then how much further delay to the Guardian Greaves. You know, the mech alone is a good enough item that it's good enough by itself. You know, you want to get it up right away.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. Now we're seeing the Lion actually go through and deward the Observer Ward us right on a cliff there. Actually, this is another thing a lot of newer players don't realize is that they feel like the Sentry Wards have to be placed in the same position as, say, an Observer Ward. So an Observer Ward gets the most vision on high ground, but the thing about Sentries is that they will view any area within that circle. It does not have to be on a high cliff or anything like that. So
in fact, an ideal place for this entry that he just placed might have been a little over to the right from where it is to catch up on the dire side.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite... but yes, generally you want to place your... And as Dazzle gets killed mid...
Gets a smoke in, and it looks like we got another vacuum right there.
The bristleback is... You know...
It's just coming in and going through town. It looks like the Lion actually gets Laguna Bladed. Lena and Dazzle actually go down. The Dazzle went down very quickly in that first... engagement right there because that's an early smoke. It looks like the Wave of Terror's coming in.
Bristleback is super tanky, and he's just going to keep running at people. He's got 17, 17 magic wands.
Yeah, it's just he's got so much armor on him. Even because normally Vengeful Spirit you use the Wave of Terror because of that armor reduction and that gives you do extra damage. But the fact that that Bristleback has his plate mail on there, he's got Crimson Guard, he's got mech. He's just got so much armor. I mean, sitting at 28 armor right now.
Now, that is the benefit to the Nether Toxin from the Viper. The Viper doesn't really care too much about that. You know, as soon as you start getting low, he gets the bonus damage.
Oh, that's true.
But Bristle's still very hard to kill. Gets out of there, doesn't die, gets some extra kills, makes that a nice 2v2 or 2-for-2 trade.
And it looks like you guys are currently leading in a net worth right now. I mean, Dazzle and Shadow Demon are at the bottom line, and Lion is actually just at the very bottom right now. I think at this point he's just trying to stay alive as much as possible and getting the wards in there to try to ward them. And there's actually a really nice ward that you guys set up over the bottom rune right there. Lion's actually going to go through and ward you guys.
Yeah, no, they had a nice. They're playing pretty hard. They're dewarding. Our vision has not been fantastic this game. It's been pretty good. Yeah, I'm actually surprised that they gave farm to the Vengeful over the Lion. I think Blink Lion is much better than Blink Vengeful. The Hex, the Earth Spike, all very strong. Yeah, our supports don't have a ton of farm right now, and they're doing alright though.
That makes sense. I generally feel that... I mean, along the lines of what you just said about the Vengeful Spirit, I actually feel that Lion is a better person to get to his early levels faster than Vengeful Spirit, because I think Vengeful Spirit's main key for plays is her Wave of Terror, her stun, and then her swap, whereas Lion just has, like, he has 2 disables for 1, and he has a huge nuke that comes out of nowhere. So it just feels like...
I mean, they're interesting because they both actually benefit a ton from level 11. The level 2 swap is much stronger. Much stronger than they're much longer range than the level 1 swap.
And we're seeing a nice save from the Dazzle for the Queen of Pain there, and it looks like you guys are going to bring down Vengeful Spirit and the Lion. Super squishy supports, and the rest of the team were just not there to respond. And it looks like the Viper is going to TP back just to make sure he gets out safe. In the meantime, Sven and Darkseer are actually just going through and just reforming botting. It looks like Sven's actually going to try to get a BKB, which is actually a really smart item against your guys' particular team lineup.
It's smart, but we already have Ags up on the Lena, we have Ags up on the Clops, we have 2 pure damage nukes that BKB is not even relevant, and the Bristle doesn't really care that much about BKB either.
Oh, okay.
Not only that, but I believe the Shadow Demon Purge, I don't know if it goes to BKB, I think it does though. So, if we have a lot of methods to deal with BKB, it's still a good item though, it definitely prevents the disables from going out, lets Sven get some damage up.
That Bristleback is just so tanky. So tanky. Like, you're just barely even scratching him. So, Method here is actually another really high-skilled player as well. We got a lot of really good players in Utah, actually, which is actually... It makes these tournaments a lot more fun to watch. It doesn't just look like a bunch of noob matches going on, so I really enjoy them. It's been a ton of fun. We're actually seeing the Dazzle actually build a Medallion of Courage. I think that's actually a great item, considering that it synergizes really well with his ulti. And if he's able to get the Medallion and the ulti off and the whole entire team, and focusing it directly on a carry like the Sven, you guys can basically burst it down as quickly as possible, along with Lena and, I mean, the Queen of Pain throwing it out. And it looks like the Viper is actually trying to go through and engage. They're going to have to get pulled back. And we get another really nice vacuum from the Darkseer into his ultimate. And Sven's just going to run through, get his ultimate up. He's going to try to tank the Lena, but he gets brought down by the Lena's pure damage, Laguna Blade. Lion's going to try to go through and actually try to hit the Bristleback again. Bristleback's just running through the front lines, and we see a Sven go down for the Dazzle. Not an ideal exchange at all. Generally, you want to make sure you get...
Ironically enough, though, Sven still ended up 300 gold ahead on that trade, so...
Really?
I guess. That's what it looks like.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not the worst trade. They get some extra farm and XP there. They got XP on 4 heroes from the Dazzle kill.
Okay.
So that's nice.
Makes sense. And this is nice. That's why it's good to have a better player co-cast, because at least you can get the insights on a lot of shit that I missed. So this is good.
But I mean, thanks to those comeback mechanics they introduced a couple patches ago. I mean, it's not the worst, but it's certainly not great to trade your hard carry for support at any time now. The big thing though is that I think the Viper is going to be what sort of carries him through the next little bit. He is really tanky now, and so basically now, especially with the Sven about to pick up his BKB, it's like we have a choice. We can either choose to ult the Sven down or ult the Viper down. So it's like pick your poison.
Right.
It's you know, Viper in long fights. Viper also gets better in long fights when his Nether Toxin's ticking everyone down, or when the Corrosive Skin's ticking everyone down. His poison go to work.
That's true,
He's
and
also
then
very good in long
if his Sven gets in, it doesn't look like Sven's getting his Daedalus or Chrysalis yet, but if he gets like one of those crits, he could basically do a full team wipe, just like Kunkka can, if he gets a successful cleave.
Yeah, no, he definitely can. You know, we're not super tanky. We have a couple squishy supports. You know, Lena has decent HP. Bristle's tanky, obviously. The Quap has decent HP. But yeah, Sven with some crits could definitely do some damage. The question is, you know, by the time he gets that crit up, you know, will we be that susceptible? You know, will Dyer be very susceptible to dying? I don't think so. See, right now these teams are just split up farming. Bristle's farming, Lena's farming bot lane, so Dyer's really getting a lot more out of the map too.
You guys got a pretty significant advantage right now too. I mean, 33 kills to 16. I mean, you guys currently have a 10,000 gold and 10,000 XP lead against Team Simple Machine. So this is a really tough comeback for them if they're able to make it.
Yeah, it is. They have a good lineup though. Again, they've got a really good team fight lineup. That Darkseer, the vac into the double stuns is really big. It really sets up their fight really well, and it'll let them be effective, you know, into the late game until we get BKBs to stop that. And you notice there's no BKBs really coming out on anyone. You know, Bristle's not buying a BKB, Quap's not buying a BKB, Lena is buying a BKB. But you know, until the BKBs come out, you know, we're still susceptible to that vac double stun combo. And yeah, with the Sven cleave, you know, we'll go down pretty quick.
Well, in this case right now, I think another good item that could be purchased by, say, the Viper or the Sven, since we're being focused so much, is maybe an Echo Core. It's a new item that just really came out, but I mean, if you have like a Lena or Queen of Pain, actually, I guess it's only a targetable spell, so if like Lena tries the Laguna Blade, it's going to reflect the Laguna Blade right back on herself as well.
Yeah, you know, that would be an interesting pickup. Yeah, for the Lotus Core, yeah, from the Lotus Orb from the Darkseer, that would be a good pickup for him. Definitely, I agree. Looks like he's going for a Hex right now, or maybe a Shiva's. So that won't be coming out. Definitely for the supports, you know, they could try to pick up a Lotus Orb, although, you know, they went 4 staff on Vengeful. I'm not sure I like that choice. Another really good pickup would have been the Glimmer Cape instead of the 4 staff. They both provide mobility, but the Glimmer Cape is very useful versus, you know, again though, yeah, I guess with the pure damage it's not that big of a deal. So Lotus Orb would also be decent.
I mean, it looks like we got another team engagement coming out right here. We see the Stormhammer coming out, the Wave of Terror. And looks like we see the Lion actually end up fingering one of your illusions, so he actually just lost that spell. We're going to see the Laguna Blade coming out from the Lena going against the Viper. And it looks like the Lion and the Dazzle do go down, and it looks like the Lena's going to get cleaved by the Sven. In the meantime, the Viper is actually going to be focused down as well. It looks like it might have been from the mirror from Darkseer that brings down the last hit. In the meantime, Method is actually going to go through and chase the Darkseer, gets his Quill Spray off, and that Sven's going to be focused out solely by himself, and he's going to get a last kill as well. And it looks like you guys are actually going to go through and push his mid lane. Eventual Spirit has no choice but to run away. She is still taking the poison damage from your dagger there. So it looks like a 4-for-2 exchange there. 500 gold exchange in favor of Team Undecided and XP change. You guys lost 2 supports there. I mean, Lena at this point is basically transitioning from... It's basically your guys' third carry. I would say position... Would she be position 3 at this point?
No, she's really, you know, at this point we're just running a tri-core lineup, so there's really not like a lot of difference in time priority. She definitely is still. She's been a core the whole game though. I mean, that's what Lina does in the current meta. I mean, she can be played as a support, but since she was mid, you know, she's pretty much been a core the whole time. She got that early Ags, got the early Yuls.
Yule Scepter is just a great item on her.
Her now is to get her ulti off on the Sven or the Viper. And last fight, yeah, we used our ults on other targets, killed the Lion early, and then killed the Viper fairly early, and so the Sven got his BKB off, was able to do some damage, killed the Lina, killed the Dazzle, but because those are the only two targets he could get on, you know, the Bristle was busy, you know, running around, and Shadow Demon was, you know, away from the Sven, and I blinked away, you know. You only lose 2 kills to BKB Sven. I think you're going to take that as a win.
Makes a lot of sense. And I mean, things are going fairly well for you guys right now. Looks like the Sven's actually going to try to bring that Bristleback. Bristleback's just going to lead every single fight. He's like a honey badger right now. He doesn't give a fuck. Doesn't give a shit. He's just going to go in there and just hit everything.
He's got the Aegis. He just wants to run at the other team. He's got the Aegis, he's got an AC, he's got a Crimson Guard, he's got a mech. Well, the Aegis just expired. But yeah, he's tanky, and
so I see that you're still actually keeping your no talisman. I mean, I think that's actually a great item for intelligence heroes. I mean, you're planning on transitioning that to a Dagon, or what was your plan to play with that?
No, I have nothing else to put in that slot. I had the Aegis there initially, and since I didn't sell the null tally, I was like, oh, I'll just put this back in my inventory.
Yeah, it looks like the tier 2 tower goes down for top rune. And it looks like we've got a team fight going down the bottom lane right now. You can actually get your Scream of Pain actually coming out right there. And it looks like Method is actually going to try to chase after the Vengeful Spirit. He's going to get hexed. I mean, this Lion's doing some critical saves for the Vengeful Spirit. And you guys you're actually going to try to bring down that Bristleback as quick as possible. Another huge clutch Shallow Grave from the Dazzle. This has got to be super frustrating for Team Backdoor Insurance. We see the disruption coming from a Shadow Demon to save him. Daz and Bristleback finally goes down after that team fight, but they did end up losing 3 heroes to commit to that fight. The Dazzle does go down. In the meantime, Sven's actually going to try to go through and chase down the Lina. He does have a Stormhammer to come off on cooldown, and he's able to throw that off on you, and looks like you go down as well. That was a lot of commitment to try to bring down that Bristleback.
I turned around there. I was sacrificial lamb for the Lina. Lina had a bigger kill streak, and it's worth more to kill her at this point, so figured I would just sack myself. Yeah, we kind of dove too hard there. We went past the towers. It was a little hard, you know. Didn't get the kills we needed to really finish the racks, and that's really what we should have focused on there. But we were also split up to start that fight. We weren't as 5, so we were kind of just winging it. It's a little over-aggressive, and in this patch, you generally want to 5-man as much as possible, especially, you know, past like 15 minutes. You want to 5-man quite a bit, 4 or 5-man quite a bit. And if you're going to split push, you generally want to do it on a hero that can get to a fight really quickly. That's why Wisp is really good. You can split push and still be in fights. You know, that's why Spectre's pretty good right now, and BOTs are also very strong right now.
Yeah, and Bristleback and Lina is actually doing really well. I mean, Lina with 15 kills, 4 deaths. Bristleback with 13 kills, 2 deaths, 21 assists, most assists of anybody in all the supports as well. So it's doing really well. Net worth definitely goes to Bristleback and Lina, and with the Viper and Queen of Pain and the Sven at top.
Yep. I'm a little. Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know what item Bristle's gonna get next. You know, maybe BKB, although I guess he doesn't really need it since Viper, you know, goes through it for the most part. Maybe a heart next, but yeah, he's definitely #1 on net worth, and he has so many assists because he just stays alive in every fight and just gets all of his quills off and just does a ton of damage.
So one thing I actually want to bring up with Lina is that supports don't realize how powerful Yule Scepter is on Lina. It gives her mana regen for one. It synergizes with her passive to give her a ton of additional move speed. But then the other nice thing too is that by using it, it doubles as a pseudo stun. It's actually really long range pseudo stun, and it sets her up for her light strike array to get her combo off.
Yeah,
I really like that.
Generally, the first item you should always pick up on Lina. Is a Yule Scepter after your boots or whatever, because it is her #1 item. It lets you set up her stun, lets you get a guaranteed, you know, and especially, you know, even as a core actually, that's what makes her super strong. And she gets the quick level 6, and then she gets kills off, and as soon as she gets a Yuls, then she basically gets a guaranteed kill on anyone she finds by themselves. Like, unless you get a disable on her before she gets that light strike away and Laguna off, you're dead.
Makes a lot of sense. So this Lion is still not level 11 yet. He really needs to get his level 2 finger just to offer a little bit more in the team fights. In the meantime, it looks like they were actually doing an early smoke earlier. I think they're trying to catch you guys off in your jungle, but you guys actually rotated down to the bottom lane. One thing I don't think people do often enough as well is that if you're leading in tower advantage right here, especially if you're able to bring down a tier 2 tower, it's a really good idea to completely farm the enemy jungle, because it forces them, for one, to rely on a creep wave to come, but they can't safely farm it, so they end up trying to go for a jungle. But when you bleed out their jungle, they basically leaves them high and dry with no XP or no gold at all. And we see a smoke coming out from Team Undecided. I think you guys are actually trying to rotate and try to catch one of the heroes off guard. I think they're expecting this push to come through.
We smoked at the wrong time. We thought we had smoked under a ward, and so, like, we were just like, whatever.
And they completely expected that, so they all got prepared to defend that tower, and force you guys to move back.
No, they were already, they know where we're going to push, so now we're just going to push out, farm, and, like, you don't need to throw yourself into, especially against a team where, again, we're struggling with their team fight. You know, we're struggling to push the high ground because it's hard to do against that Darkseer Sven combo. You know, we just want to play it safe, get the Roche, you know, push the lanes, take as much farm as we can, get a nice good advantage before going up there. I mean, that is the good thing about their draft. They can defend high ground really well, really well. Darkseer is one of the best late game heroes too, because the stronger you get, you know, the stronger those illusions get.
Makes a lot of sense, and plus he's actually got a sheep stick up as well, which is going to be very useful against the heroes like Bristleback, because Bristleback still doesn't have his BKB up yet, so he doesn't have any type of magic immunity for one. But the other thing I noticed too that an item that Viper got I really like is actually the Silver Edge. Silver Edge is actually a new item that comes out from building with Shadow Edge and Sange. And the nice thing about it is if you actually use it to activate and get a successful hit on somebody, it not only does bonus damage, but it actually makes them reduce the amount of damage that they'll put on their next attacks, right? There's like damage reduction.
The major advantage to the Silver Edge is the fact that it applies the break effect, which disables all passive abilities for whichever hero you attack out of the invis. And so it's a really great counter to Bristle here because it disables both Bristleback and Warpath. So it makes Bristle not nearly as tanky, so it makes him a lot easier to take down if the Viper attacks him out of the invis right away.
So that's
what it's picked up for generally.
So that's actually a really, really smart pickup from the Viper right there.
Yeah, yep, it's fantastic. It counters the Bristle fairly hard. And
we already see the Silver Edge coming into play.
There's the back wall right away. Yes.
And we're actually seeing the Laguna gameplay coming through and actually hitting on the Vengeful Spirit. And the Mirror is actually able to get any kills, but still does go down there. We're seeing actually the Sven coming through and trying to cleave somebody. He gets brought down as well. And we're seeing the Viper actually being brought down from the Queen of Pain and the Bristleback. And it looks like the Lina still does go down there. And actually ends up giving the Viper quite a bit of gold. He ends up buying back right here to try to catch him off. And the Bristleback's still going to actually take down the Viper. And the Shadow Demon comes through with a very critical disruption to save him. So that team fight was a pretty big team fight for you guys. For one, I mean, it wiped, both teams took huge losses, but you guys were able to take down the melee racks. And it looks like you guys are actually trying to bring down the Ranger Axe as well, but you guys are actually going to go through and try to take down the Viper. Vengeful Spirit does a very nice save by swapping the Viper out. Viper's going to come right back in. Nether Toxin of it, Bristleback, but there's no stun going on, but he does go down with the Darkseer hitting him. Definitely a much needed kill.
A little divey there. Should have focused on the racks, but it's okay. We got 2 racks. It looks like everyone is going to get out.
I'm seeing the Darkseer actually chase the Shadow Demon. I actually feel like the Darkseer may have been able to bring him out if he had a sheep stick though.
So Lina just threw kind of hard there. Lina botched into creeps, and then ran in by herself. So that was sort of a huge throw by Lina. Lina's now dead for a long time.
No buyback status as well, and she also lost a huge chunk of gold to basically last for 15 seconds.
She bought back, botched in, and died after we had all left. Like, came into the fight, and I'm really not sure why that happened.
It was kind of odd when we were on Skype, you know. I was like, why did you run in there? And he's like, I don't really know. No, it was just this game really I actually felt like went a lot longer than it should have. We made some not so great decisions to be a little too aggressive instead of focusing on objectives here. You can see they got a lot out of it. Like the Viper, in fact, only was able to buy back in that last fight because of that late kill on the Lina. So very interesting.
Yeah, because the Nether Toxin was what brought her down for that last tick that made him, because he was at like 900 gold, and after Lina went down, it went up to 1700. That allowed him to get the buyback in there right away.
Yep.
Looks like they were actually trying to push his mid rune, but you guys, everybody was back up. You got 4. I mean, the most critical person here, I think, was like the Bristleback and the Dazzle, and that was enough to scare them off and make them back up.
Yeah, they can't. It's hard for them to push into us. We have pretty good high iron defense too. You know, we got the Dazzle, we got the Bristle, you know, and we got the Ag Sonic wave, so you can insta clear waves. That was a good fight by them, though. They were able to get some kills out of us, but we did take the racks, and I think that's a bigger deal. Outside of the Lina buying back and dying again, you know, that would have been 100% worth it.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at the gold XP right now. I mean, there's a fairly large advantage for Team Undecided. You guys are currently like about 15,000 gold lead, and then 50,000 XP lead. It slightly went up a little bit in that last team fight, but you guys still got quite a huge advantage right now.
Yep. Yeah, we're just slow sieging the base because that lineup's so potent. It's hard to push high ground against it. The Viper's super strong.
You see the Vengeful Spirit coming in with a very, very critical swap to try to bring down Delina. Dazzle's going to go through and hurry up and actually save Delina in the shallow grave, but Delina is going to be brought down by the Dark Spirit Vacuum. In the meantime, Peach is trying to get away as well. Sven's going to try to chase him down, and he's going to try to cleave the Dazzle. In the meantime, Dazzle does go down, but Bristleback is being chased by the entire team. He's completely surrounded. Does pop his Crimson Guard, but there's not much he can really do right now, and he just keeps on running away. And he gets brought down. Shadow Demon's going to have to retreat and TP out. Team fight actually went really well in Simple Machine's favor there. So that was actually fairly display.
They had a great initiation onto the Lina, and then they had a great stun that the Sven stunned right as the Quap blinked in, caught 2 people. They killed the Lina and they killed the Quap and I believe the Dazzler right away.
And
Bristle came in late and just died as well.
They're really going to try to take advantage of this of that last team fight and just actually start to push down this mid as much as possible because it's going to be very critical. Meanwhile, we're going to have the line actually staying back at the base to try to defend. He does have his Blink Dagger up, which is a great initiation item for Lion. I really underestimated it when I first started playing Dota, but when you're a Lion with a Blink, it just makes you pretty devastating in team fights because you can show up out of nowhere and disable people and bring them down. So I actually really like Blink on Lion.
Yeah, again, I'm surprised they gave the farm priority to the Vengeful. I feel like the Lion is a more effective hero for the most part.
We're seeing a very...
Vengeful does have the Solar Crest up now. It's a big item.
We're seeing a very scary item coming out for Sven right now. Sven's actually got the Crystallis, and he's probably going to be building that into a Daedalus as soon as possible, which is a very terrifying item on Sven because it just does so much damage. I'm looking at Bristleback right now, so I actually noticed that he's got a Soul Booster. I'm assuming he's... does that build into an Octarine Core now?
Yep, he is getting the Octarine Core. That is his plan.
That's right. So the Octarine Core is...
more tanky.
And a ton of life sustain.
Yeah.
And all that
makes you
life steal.
Yeah, that's great.
It's a great item. That's why it's one of the things that's made Leshrac so strong this patch, because you get Leshrac with Bloodstone, Octarine Core, and Acceptor. He just jumps into middle team fights, turns on everything, and just waits there. He doesn't even need to really right click per se.
No, he doesn't at all. On the low, Bristle does. And the thing, Octarine Core synergizes really well for Bristle because you get it reduces the cooldown on the Quill Spray and the Nasal Goo, which is a huge deal, which means more Warpath stacks. Which just gives, that's a huge deal. It gives him extra damage, extra movement speed. Not only that, but it, gives him the lifesteal. That's a lot of extra lifesteal.
Yeah, he's
already.
already...
The more of those stack,
He's already tanky as hell at this point. I mean, is it even like ideal for him to even keep the mechanism? Would it be a good idea to get rid of his mechanism after he gets Octarine Core and get the heart?
Maybe. I would say not. I would say probably not. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised, he could always go into the Guardian Greaves as well. At this point, it might not be a bad idea.
Get double boots.
Yeah, just double boots.
You need a boot for each
Might
foot.
as well. It's not like it takes an item slot since you already have the mech in your inventory.
So I know Selena's getting a perseverance. What is she trying to build at this point?
Refresher orb. So actually, for the most part, refresher orb, especially even on Quap, actually, especially for a hero like Quap, refresher orb is actually more damage added than an Ag Scepter, getting 2 ults off. But no, in this case, Lena's going for refresher so she can double ulti
The Viper.
2 ults in a fight. Yeah, Viper or Sven, either one.
All right.
Whichever one we need to kill. Sven at this point might be a little more dangerous with that crystal. That Chrysalis makes him pretty scary.
So we're actually seeing them pull off a smoke right now. I think they're actually anticipating some type of a team fight, but you guys are actually hovering right above the Roshan pit. Are you guys just trying to get this scouted out, or what's the plan here? Because you guys are staying in that area for quite a while.
Yeah, we're waiting for the Roche spawn. We're kind of wary after that last fight. I think our idea here is that we're kind of wary of pushing the high ground without the Aegis. They've obviously shown they can win a team fight, you know, and they can get, you know, quick initiations on us. So we were kind of thinking, you know, we're just gonna play it safe, farm some more, wait for the Roche if we can, and then push high ground.
So I noticed that you're still keeping your bottle pretty late into the game. I mean, what point do you get rid of the bottle itself that it's just no longer useful?
When I get an item to replace it, that's pretty much it.
I see.
I don't have, you know, I haven't had a great game. I mean, I'm #1 on net worth right now, but that's mostly due to the fact that I've got 3 big items in the Scythe, the Black King, and the Aghanims. So basically, we'll just keep it. It's there for, you know, I can store a rune for later, like if it's a DD rune or a haste or something useful, regen, and then.
Okay.
There's no reason to get rid of your bottle unless you're going to replace it with something better. So.
It looks like the Viper is actually doing really well on their team still. I mean, he's getting his farm up pretty quickly. I think right now they're just trying to save for buyback in case anything happens, so that they can come back up. I mean, the gold graph has changed pretty dramatically. They went from a 20,000 gold loss to a 10,000 gold loss. So, I mean, they made up that difference pretty quickly. And their XP difference right now, they're only trailing by. They almost caught up to a 5,000 difference. So, I mean, they're catching up fairly quickly here. So this is becoming dangerous to prolong this game for you guys.
Yep.
I mean, in this team game here, between the two teams, who'd have the harder carries? Because I feel like Sven could just do so much damage if he's able to get in there for the successful cleave.
He can, but again, with especially with Lena going for that refresher, the double ulti is just, you know, it's just going to delete him from the game. You know, we're talking about how much
1900 pure damage, and that's and pure damage doesn't get reduced by any type of armor or magic resistance, right?
Nope, and it goes right through BKB, so he will take the full amount of damage no matter what he does.
That's pretty.
So basically, just kills him. I mean, so
that's very scary.
As long as Lena doesn't get caught out, you know, Sven is basically guaranteed dead in every fight.
That'll probably be your guys'.
Get the stun off.
So I'm guessing at this point of this, with getting this late in the game, your #1 priority now is going to be this Sven, then the Viper, just because the Sven's damage output's going to be higher than the Viper's eventually, right?
Yeah, his short, you know, Viper's damage is over long fights, and we're all pretty tanky now. And we all have a fair amount of survivability. We're not super worried about the Viper. More worried about Sven getting those big crits off, and now it's like, okay, but now we have the Lena, and so we're just gonna kill him.
So I noticed that you guys left a bottle in the fountain there. I think it would have been a good idea for the Shadow Demon to go in there real quick and pick up the bottle himself, so that way he has an extra item. I mean, he does have 2 slots open.
Yeah, he could have done it. I'm not sure why he didn't.
But I think when it
Instead,
gets
we just pick it up in the courier.
And courier is just gonna be super slow with that empty bottle.
He could have picked up the bottle Alex dropped.
Alright, it looks like Lena is actually going to go through and actually farm this, and she's sitting at 3,500 gold. Let's see what everybody's current gold is at. Yeah, Queen of Pain, actually a lot of people are sitting on a fair chunk of gold. I mean, Darkseer's almost at 2,500. Looks like some gold is spent there. You're still sitting on a 3,800 gold stack of gold. We've got the Roshan cheese in there, which is actually a nice having to get inside the burst damage, but I think right now you guys are just trying to figure out a way to push the high ground for the top tower.
Yep, we're just waiting. We're waiting for the refresher orb from the for the Lena, and then we're probably gonna go push in.
And this is so dangerous because it's I mean, Simple Machine just really doesn't have a whole lot of safe options to go out and farm by themselves, and they're just forced to have to defend against the base. And I think what they're hoping for is to win a team fight and then go through and push the lanes. Otherwise, there's just not much that they can really do. So we're seeing the Bristleback go through and engage right now. I think you guys are actually trying to bait the Lina, bait the mouse so that way the Lina can actually get the Sven in there.
Yeah, we're just trying to sort of force some things. You know, I'm up forward.
And we see a nice swap coming out from the Vengeful Spirit. They're going to throw and hit you. Dazzle's going to catch Shell Grave. You do pop your cheese in there. Sven's going to go through and try to hit them, but he does get the double. He does end up getting the double blade there, I think. Yeah, he ended up getting the double blade from Lina, just like you said, and he just completely popped right there. Shadow Demon's going to go down for Team Undecided in the meantime. Looks like the Viper is actually going to go through re-engage and actually try to take down Lina, but he's going to actually get sheeped. And it looks like Aegis is actually going to come right back up for the Lina, so not going in their favor. In the meantime, you're being swapped right back in there by the Vengeful Spirit. They're going to try to bring you down, but Lina's just too tanky, having too much attack speed, and she's going to try to bring down the Vengeful Spirit. Bristleback's going to go through and change the Vengeful Spirit, and he's going to get stunned. Vengeful Spirit's going to be able to get safe, but Viper's going to get caught in the middle between the Bristleback and the Lina, and he's going to be right click to death. In the meantime, you guys are actually going to try to take down his tower. You got a buyback coming from the Viper and a Darkseer. Try to make a damage. Try to make a difference here. Seeing Viper actually popped his Silver Edge with the Ion Shell. He's going to swap in a successful swap on the Bristleback, and you guys are going to try to bring him down. A very nice vacuum for the Darkseer to cancel that TP from the Viper, and then Lina's just trying to get away right now. But you guys were able to at least get to tower, but unfortunately no racks.
No racks.
I could see
that
was aggressive. That team fight looked intense, and it looked like something was going to happen. And really, all that happened was just a couple bodies on the floor, and then one tower. So I can see what you mean. That was.
The Viper again. He's hard to kill, and he almost died there, but he got back to the fountain. He got 4 staffs. He got back to the fountain, was able to heal up, come back in, and that really made it hard to finish that off. You know, even with the cheese. You notice at the beginning though.
Yeah, the Dazzle shallow graved you, and you were able to pop your cheese off right after Dazzle.
Right, and then right after that they had a fantastic 4-man vac into Stormhammer, and so they got a lot of people really low. They killed the Shadow Demon. They killed the Dazzle. And then
notice at this point the Viper's still not turning on his ROA, and I think when it's just late in the game, it's just better just to keep that active the entire time, right?
Yeah, it is. I'm surprised he's not doing it. It does help, push out lanes. It helps when the creeps are near your tower. I'm surprised he doesn't have it on at this point.
But he does have the Lotus Orb, which is going to be a really big item against Lina, especially if the Lina decides to try to Laguna Blade him, because that's just going to reflect back on her.
No,
I think actually that might be a better
big item if he remembers to use it. If he remembers to use it, it's a big item.
I think it might be a good idea for the Sven to get the Lotus Orb right now as well. Maybe drop the Magic Wand, because he's the primary target right now as well.
So you can use it on other people, so really, again, supports should probably be getting it. Now, see, again, Vengeful went for a Desolator. I don't like that. I'm surprised that the Vengeful is going for damage items. The Vengeful could have built a Lotus Orb, and you've got 2 Lotus Orbs up against the, against the Lina. That's nice. That's good to have.
That's true, because the Lotus Orb itself, it can actually apply to any of your team heroes, not just yourself, and that way frees up a slot for the Sven to maybe get like a MKB, or maybe an Abyssal Blade, which would be really useful against Selena to disable her right click.
I would even, for the Sven right now, I would almost go HP. I would go like a...
Heart?
Well, I would go like a Heart or Satanic maybe. Try to live through those Lina ultis, and then, you can pop your BKB and your Satanic afterwards and heal up.
I think the Desolator was just using to at least get some additional damage buff, but I do agree. I mean, at this point, the Vengeful's not doing a whole lot of damage in the first place. I mean, she does have a nice right click, but at this point in the game, she doesn't have a lot of impact or damage items, and it's just better to get more support items to make the team a little more tankier.
Yeah.
Maybe Pipe? Pipe might be a good item, I think.
Pipe's alright. It's not bad, but
we're seeing an engagement right there. The Viper is by himself. There's not a whole lot. We're actually going to see the Lotus Orb coming out actually on the Viper, and the Sven being brought down immediately already. And we have so much things going on. The Viper is going to be brought down for 120 seconds. Sven goes down, and we're seeing the Dazzle go down as well. Not a big kill, but The big kills that you guys are getting through right here are actually the Sven and the Viper. Two of the carries. Lion's going to try to get away, and he gets brought down. Darkseer is actually going to be chased right back to his fountain. Bristleback's going to go through and finish the job, and this is going to be top racks for you guys. I think at this point you guys are going to try to push to win. You got 5-man down for over 100 seconds. There's not much they can really do here. I mean, they don't have Glyph.
No, we had a good fight there. Sven jumped in and got immediately triple ulted by both the Quap and the Lina double ulted him. So he took 3 pure damage ults to the face. And then because the Viper Lotus Orbed himself, you know, and he was just fighting up there, you know, alone against the Bristle, you know, we didn't really care that much about him.
So the Lotus Orb, does it only work on one spell, or does it work for any spells for the duration of that?
I think it works for any spells while the duration while it's up. So he could have used it on the Sven, but he popped it on himself. The Sven jumped in and just got deleted from the fight.
Yeah, that was a rough team fight. I mean, I think if they were able to get another successful team fight like they did one prior to that, that would have given them some momentum to push back. But either way, it was actually really well played by both teams. Like you mentioned, the Simple Machine had a really awesome lineup, but you could see the power of the Darkseer and Stormhammer coming into play several times that match. But yeah, that was game 2 between Simple Machine versus Team Undecided. So that was actually a really good match. Get some good commentary from you, Andy. So that was really helpful. Anything you want to add?
No, I thought it was a good game. I thought their lineup was really strong. And I thought they played a pretty good game. It's just I think we laned it better initially, and then the Lina really just Lina and the Bristleback really carried us through the early into the late game. So
yeah, that Bristleback incredibly tanky. That was I don't even know how you would have killed him. He was bringing so much. He was just basically man moding everything and just going through and hitting everybody. So
yeah, and then you know he's able to do that a lot because of the Dazzle. Dazzle keeps him alive. So maybe you know like Axe or AA is always good against the Dazzle. You know they're both decent counters. But no, I thought it was a good game. They made us work pretty hard for it. You know I didn't have a fantastic game on the Queen of Pain. I died a lot, so I'm glad that we were able to pull that one out.
Well, that's a great game. So thanks again for casting with me. We'll get this uploaded. This is Zero to Infinity and Arius from Crowd Control, and we'll catch you guys later.